everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be reviewing the 2025 supernatural comedy Good Fortune. This film has been written, directed and produced by American comedian Aziz Ansari. And Aziz is actually the star of the film as well. So he's wearing a lot of hats, but many people will have you believe that the headliner here is Keanu Reeves as the guardian angel, but he is playing just a little supporting role, peppering the proceedings, because Aziz is really the engine room of this film. Anyway, we also get Seth Rogen, we even have Keke Palmer as Aziz's girlfriend, and we even get Sandra Oh playing one of Keanu Reeves' superiors. Now, basically, the setup of this film shows us that Aziz Ansari is a struggling documentary editor who is trying to make ends meet by making food deliveries. And Keanu Reeves plays an angel who comes into his life, and he attempts to show Ansari that money isn't the solution to life's problems. And Reeves is really a low-rent angel. The most he does is he's trying to save people who are driving and texting, and he's trying to prevent accidents. And he himself is getting disillusioned with his role in the grand scheme of things, and he really feels like he'd like to do a little bit more and save somebody. And it seems that Ansari is just that guy, a down-on-his-luck dude that is falling apart and about to give up on life. Now, Ansari's character crosses paths with a wealthy venture capitalist played by Seth Rogen. And when Keanu Reeves' guardian angel comes on the scene and surveys Ansari's mindset, he actually disrupts their lives. Ansari does the big switcheroo and the two trade places. So Seth Rogen is no longer the wealthy venture capitalist, he is just a struggling delivery driver, and Ansari finds himself living at large in Seth Rogen's rather opulent world. Now, this film presents itself as a mix of Jimmy Stewart's It's a Wonderful Life and the classic comedy Trading Places, which starred Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. So Good Fortune has a lot on its plate, and it does try to present a combination of these two, but unfortunately it just falls short. And when you're expecting some laughs, they just aren't there. It's just a lukewarm comedy that putters along. In some ways, it can barely sustain its 95 minutes. It really struggles, and I think the reason why it does is because the script is devoid of laughs. So yes, Good Fortune may be taking some inspiration from that Frank Capra movie, It's a Wonderful Life, but really, these two films should not be mentioned in the same sentence. And as far as Trading Places type movies go, or body swap films, if you will, this is really nothing to get too excited about. They switch, not a lot happens, they switch back, and still you're thinking, what's the point? This is a film that is based solely on Ansari's character, and his character really struggles to maintain the running time. I feel there was some social commentary here that Ansari wanted to get an audience on board with, but the execution just falls short. And really, we're left with a few sporadic gags courtesy of Keanu Reeves. And unfortunately, the script lets him down. If you've seen the trailers, you've seen the best bits. If you go into this film expecting some zingers from Keanu, but you've seen the ads, you go, hang on, didn't I see that last week? Is there anything else they're going to give us? And they really don't give you anything else. So if this film is a success at the box office, it is because of that marketing approach with Keanu Reeves. They promise something and then don't have enough punch to really take the comedy to another level. And that's sad. So Good Fortune is a movie that had its heart in the right place. I think Ansari is really trying. I think Kiki Palmer is nice in support. They have some sweet little scenes together as they're getting to know each other. But Keanu Reeves's input almost feels like it's an afterthought or a marketing ploy to get people to watch a rather lukewarm romantic comedy featuring Ansari and Palmer. And as for Seth Rogen's contribution, he really is subdued here. You don't get your usual boisterous Rogen performance. He is playing it safe. And I think there's really only one moment towards the end of the film where Rogen explodes and shows his true comedic colours. And as far as Sandra Oh's performance goes as Reeves' superior, she isn't given a lot to do at all. She turns up a handful of times, and it's a pretty perfunctory role for an actress who has a lot of comedic range. So it's an odd mix of elements, this film, and the angel stuff that should really take it to another comedic plateau kind of peters out. And Ansari isn't strong enough to hold the film, so it just falls apart. And when you see that Rotten Tomatoes rating, and it's currently sitting at 79%, you're left scratching your head thinking, who's really reviewing this film? To me, it feels more a 40%. You want it to be 79 or 80, but this film feels half-massed and underdeveloped. It feels like it wanted to be something else, and in the end, they just used Keanu Reeves to sell it. So please go into this comedy with caution. In some ways, it's more of a comedic drama. It does get a little serious towards the end. So it's not the sum of its parts, and it just leaves you feeling rather deflated. So for me, Good Fortune could have been the comedy hit at the end of the year. I really like to go and see comedies in theatres with a big audience. But this movie just really hasn't got the laugh factor to get anyone giggling, and the audience that I saw it with almost didn't laugh once. So if you've seen the trailers, you've seen the movie, the trailers are better than the movie, and Good Fortune is something that you'll forget about pretty fast. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon.